mistake, but time threw a prayer to me, and all around me became still. I need love, love's divine. Please forgive me, now I see that I've been blind. Give me love, love is what I need to help me know my name. Through the rainstorm came sanctuary, and I felt my spirit fly. I had found all my reality.
You guys ready to do this? Dear family and friends, welcome to the wedding ceremony of Nina Alavi and Matthew McLean. حضار محترم، دوستان عزیز، به مراسم عقد نینا علوی و متیو مکلین خوش آمدید. My name is Pourya Khademi, and aside from being your violinist today, I also have the honor of officiating the ceremony. However, I have the most distinct honor and pleasure of being the bride's cousin. Love you, honey. Before we begin, the bride and groom have requested that you just relax, put your cell phones away, and be present with us during these precious moments. We have, as you can see, professional photographers and videographers here, and I promise you their cameras are better than your cell phones. In a few weeks, Nina will post everything on Facebook, and we can see it then. عروس و داماد از شما خواهش میکنن که تلفناتون رو کنار بذارید. ما اینجا فیلمبردار و عکسبردار حرفه‌ای داریم و تا چند هفته دیگه نینا عکس‌ها رو توی فیسبوک خواهد گذاشت یا به قول سهیلا جون فضول بوک. بنابراین ازتون خواهش می‌کنیم که تلفناتون رو کنار بذارین و در این لحظات شیرین با ما باشید. The bride's father has prepared these beautiful programs. It includes explanations about this stunning spread that we see here. We call it the Sofre Act, or the wedding spread. Each of the items on this table are part of a 6,000-year-old tradition. Each item holds deeply symbolic meanings, and I invite you to check the program for those details. Also, at the beginning of every row on the floor, you will find little packets of confetti. Okay, we couldn't put them on the chairs because the wind was blowing them. So keep them there, and when the ceremony is over and the bride and groom are exiting this way, you can throw the confetti on them. All right? Now, before I declare you two legally married, let's find out how you two met, because it is truly a beautiful love story, or if you're Persian, love story. I'm just going to hold this. Nina and Matt met in the fall of 2013. He had just recently returned from Afghanistan, and instead of remaining in the Marines, he decided it was time to pursue his education and transition back to civilian life. Luckily for Nina, he chose to do that in California instead of Florida, which is where he's originally from. Nina, at that time, was in her second year of college and heavily involved on campus, with her sole focus at that time transferring to UCLA. So with only plans of academic and school involvement, romantic endeavors were not something either of these two lovebirds had on their minds. That is, of course, until the day Matt joined student government and walked into a meeting that Nina was already attending. In that fateful moment, everything changed. The minute Nina laid eyes on Matt, she was infatuated, and something within her knew she couldn't let him leave without him knowing who she was. Little did she, and most people here know, Matt was already familiar with Nina. How, you ask? You see, Matt was doing his homework. He had been researching student government on the school website. And as soon as he saw Nina's photo, he was suddenly much more interested in joining student government. Now, those who know Nina will not be surprised that after the meeting, Nina immediately found a way to interject herself into a conversation Matt was having with someone else, and then proceeded to harass him with 20 questions. In Nina's defense, I shall say, Matt was in the military, and so she was young but not naive. So even though they had just met, Nina flat out began to ask, "Are you married?" She asked if he is divorced. She even asked him if he has a baby mama. Matt, being more soft-spoken and chill, he knew exactly what Nina was getting at, but he played it cool, and he just let Nina run her mouth like a giddy schoolgirl. I can totally see you do that. While Nina wasted no time interrogating Matt, he wasted no time pursuing her, and the two quickly began dating. Since that October, 8 years ago, Matt and Nina stayed together through transferring to different universities, adopting their beloved cat, Winnie, graduating and moving across the country to Atlanta, Georgia, beautiful Atlanta, where they currently reside. And today, that beautiful chapter of their lives ends, and the new chapter begins as husband and wife. Nina June, Matthew June, you are going to have a long and prosperous life together, and all of us here are delighted to be celebrating the first day of your new journey, the new chapter of your journey. With that said, it's time to start the ceremony. Would the following ladies please step forward to begin the sugar grinding ceremony? اسم خانمایی که قراره قند رو بسازن میگم، لطفاً تشریف بیارید. سهیلا، تریسی، کارن، مینا، سمیرا، پریوش، شیرین، آذر، هاله، ماری، شانتل, Megan, and Daisy. Please step forward. بفرمایید. So this is probably my favorite part of the Persian wedding ceremony. As you can see, women from both the bride and the groom's side are going to hold a unity cloth over the couple's heads, a symbolic roof over their head, held up by their community, who will support the newlyweds on their journey. Meanwhile, 2 sugar cones are rubbed together to shower the couple in sweetness, thus ensuring a long and beautiful life. Nina, Matthew, as you sit here together, listen to these beautiful words of wisdom from the legendary 13th century poet of love, Rumi. How blissful that moment, you and I sitting on the veranda in 2 separate forms. 2 shapes, but of one essence, you and I. The water of life brings order to the garden and gives voice to the birds when we enter the meadow, you and I. The planets and stars come to gaze upon us, and we will show them our own moon, you and I. You and I, free from you and I, joined together in passion, joyful, free of distressing thoughts and false beliefs, you and I. The heavenly parrots will find sugar in their beaks when we laugh in that way, you and I. And even more wondrous, you and I in this corner, intimately and at the same moment in the west and in the east, you and I. In one form on this earth and in another, in sweet eternal paradise, you and I. And now let's hear it in Persian. با هم دیگر به شعری از مولانا حضرت عشق و وفا گوش می‌دهیم. خنکان دم که نشینیم در ایوان من و تو، به 2 نقش و به 2 صورت به یکی جان من و تو. داد باغ و دم مرغان بدهد آب حیات، آن زمانی که درآییم به بستان من و تو. اختران فلک آیند به نظاره ما، مه خود را بنماییم بدیشان من و تو. من و تو بی من و تو جمع شویم از سر ذوق، خوش و فارغ ز خرافات پریشان من و تو. طوطیان فلکی جمله شکرخوار شوند، در مقامی که بخندیم بدانسان من و تو. این عجبتر که من و تو به یکی کنج اینجا، هم در این دم به عراقیم و خراسان من و تو. به یکی نقش بر این خاک و بر آن نقش دگر، در بهشت ابدی و شکرستان من و تو. For those of you unfamiliar with the Persian ceremony, we are about to enter a critical moment. You see, my most important job today is to get the consent of the bride in order to carry out the ceremony. And Matthew, as you well know, Nina, is a strong and independent woman with a mind of her own. So it may not be as easy to get a yes from her. But don't worry, I'll help you. All right, let's give this a try and see. Dear Miss Nina Alavi, do you give me permission to wed you to this handsome and wonderful man, Mr. Matthew McLean, in the sacred bond of marriage, before all these witnesses gathered here today?
The bride has gone to pick flowers.
They're saying the bride has gone to pick flowers. میگن عروس رفته گل بچینه. Okay, چیکار کنیم? Okay, Matthew, let's try something. I want you to take Nina's hand into your hand and slowly kiss her hand while you look into her eyes. And hold it there for a moment. Hold it there, hold it there, hold it there. All right. Let's give this another try. Nina June. Let's try this in Persian. Maybe we can get a yes. جناب خانم نینا علوی، آیا به من وکالت می دهید که شما را به عقد دامی این مرد شریف آقای متیو مکلین در بیاورم؟ آیا وکیلم؟
The bride has gone to fetch rose water.
Wow, these women are good. میگن عروس رفته گلاب بیاره. All right, Matthew, let's try something else. I want you to slowly place a kiss on Nina's cheek and whisper something sweet into her ear. I don't know. Nina's face didn't change, but let's try. Third time is a charm. برای بار سوم، نینا جون، عزیزم, my lovely cousin, do you give me permission to wed you to this handsome and by now slightly worried man, Mr. Matthew McLean, in the sacred bond of marriage, before all these guests and witnesses here today?
با اجازه بابا و مامانم بله.
مبارک باشه. Well, Matthew, it's your turn. And don't even think about playing hard to get, because you only get one chance. Dear Mr. Matthew McLean, do you give me permission to wed you to this incredible woman, Nina Alavi, whose beauty, inner and outer beauty, will light up your life forever? In the sacred bond of marriage, before all these witnesses gathered here today?
Ballet.
All right. Now, that was a real ballet if I've ever heard one, and I've heard many. Now that I have received consent from both of you, we can move on to the honey tasting ceremony. Sohaila June, would you please come up and hand them the honey? Or you're already there. Would you please hand them the honey? Aside from being sweet and delicious, honey is the only food that never spoils. Wait for me, give it a second. Hold on, guys, hold on, wait. Aside from being sweet and delicious, honey is the only food that never spoils. Therefore, to symbolize your everlasting love, I'm gonna ask you to dip your pinkies in the cup of honey and feet at each other at the same time, and be sure to hold it there so our camera crew can capture this beautiful moment forever. Go ahead. I think Nina is biting his finger, which is very like her. Ladies, thank you for holding the unity veil over the bride and groom. You can fold it up now and return to your seats. And at this time, I'd like to invite the groom's friend, Patrick Trujillo, to come up and perform the rest of the ceremony. Patrick? Do you need the stand?